Hey, friends. Okay, I'm gonna let everyone in who's here. Hello, everyone. We still have some people joining. We're letting them in. If you're able to be on camera, we love to see your faces. We don't like talking to black boxes, but we will if you make us. All right. Well, it looks like we don't have anyone in the waiting room right now, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Um, oh, yeah. If more people come on camera, you get to see a puppy. He's so cute. All right, so let's get started. This is Officer Leadership Academy, one of the sessions for this semester. It is National Meet and Greet, and so we don't have anything super formal prepared for this. We are hoping that it can be a little bit more conversational. We're going to provide some introductions. Look at Coco, he is so stinking cute. Um, we're going to give some updates, just general updates about the sorority. Taylor will give some updates about the chapter health program. And then we would love to answer your questions, have conversations about anything that you have going on or that you're curious about or that you're struggling with. We are very open about what we should chat about. So I will kick this off with the introductions. It looks like we have four people here from the national team. So we will each introduce ourselves. And share a little bit about our Omega Phi Alpha experience, and then we'll kick it off with the updates. So my name is Alyssa Bernhardt. I am the managing director of Omega Phi Alpha. I am also a founding member and alum of Alpha Zeta chapter, which is Kennesaw State University in Georgia. Um, I currently live in Missoula, Montana. I think I'm the only alumni that lives in Montana. So, um, and it's not that cold here. Everyone thinks that, but right now it's really not that cold. And not that much snow either, actually. And I wanted everyone to share like a fun, interesting fact about themselves, and I should have been prepared for one of these for myself. Um, it is 2024, which is an Olympics year, and I really love the Olympics. So that's a fun fact. I've been to the Summer and Winter Olympics, and I'm very excited about the Olympics. I'll pass it off to Stormy to introduce herself.
All right. I am Stormy Scott. I am one of the chapter health specialists. My active chapter is Alpha Alpha in Flagstaff, Arizona. I currently live in Portland, Oregon. So we had a big ice storm last week. So it's nice that the internet's not out. Um, and then a fun fact about me is I am a huge soccer fan. So. And then Taylor,
Taylor.
you're it.
Hello. Also, I have two folks whose names, full names, and chapters I need in the chat. Just plugging that. But I'm Taylor. I'm the chapter health manager. Um, I am from Chi chapter, which is at the University of South Carolina, the real USC, I will say. Um, what else did we say? Oh, I live in Durham, North Carolina, so I'm close to a lot of our chapters, which is kind of fun. It's really nice. I could do like a little tour if I wanted to. And let's see, a fun fact about me, I recently am getting into pottery. And apparently, according to my instructor, I'm a natural. So we'll see what that actually means as I do more of it. But yeah, something fun and exciting. And I will
I
pass
love
it to
that,
Casey.
Taylor. Let's bring everyone into the world of pottery because I also do pottery. Casey dabbles in pottery. Let's just bring everyone into the world of pottery. I love it. Casey, your turn.
Hi, I'm Casey. This is Coco. He's a 10-week-old Labradoodle and he's a little monster. Um, my name's Casey Stevens. I am our National Communications Director, so handling all of our social media and design and website and all of that fun stuff. Merchandise, woo, all the things. Anywho, my active chapter was Phi chapter at Arizona State. I do live in Phoenix, Arizona. Um, Fun fact about me, which probably isn't a surprise to the other leaders here on the phone, is I love baseball. And I got to go to the World Series for the first time when the Diamondbacks were in the World Series in the end of 2023. So I'm really excited for the new season to start soon and to go to as many games as possible this year.
Love it. Well, thank you for introducing yourself. It's probably helpful to give like a little bit of overview about the national team. So there are more volunteers and staff people that were not able to be here today. It's kind of a tricky time because we all live across different time zones and have different obligations as the volunteers are just volunteering. And then all of us who are staff just work part-time. So we just work part-time hours. So it's kind of challenging to get everyone here at the same time. But oh, hi, Jenna. Do you want to introduce yourself? We just introduced ourselves and shared a fun fact.
Sure. Sorry about that, everyone. Hello, my name is Jenna Zielinski. I am a member of the chapter health team. I'm a chapter health specialist. I'm from the Omega chapter at Rutgers University, and I currently live on Long Island in New York. I was like, what was I saying? And a fun fact about me is that I have a twin sister. Yeah.
That's a fun fact. I wasn't sure what your fun fact was going to be. I feel like there's so many, like your troll and your time outside of Omega Phi Alpha. Like I wasn't sure where we were going with that, but I love that. Um, awesome. Well, so beyond so all the paid staff are here, Taylor, myself, Stormy, and Jenna, and then Casey is a volunteer. And like I said, we have a team of volunteers. So we have a board of directors, which are all volunteer positions. They serve 2-year terms and can be elected twice. Then we have volunteer legal advisors. A fun fact is that both of our legal advisors are attorneys that are alumni of Omega Phi Alpha, of different chapters, new chapter and Omicron chapter. We have a national standards board director, a national service director, and we also have a few expansions team members, although expansions has been paused a little bit here. And then we have contracted staff. Virginia is our office administrator. I'm sure all of you have talked to Virginia, and if you have not, you will soon, I'm sure. And then we have a few people who volunteer on the national team for alumni engagement. So you may not know this, but the alumni do a secret snowman gift exchange every year around the holidays. That person leads that. The alumni also do fantasy football leagues, and that person is in charge of the fantasy football league. So they do all of the alumni engagement. And then we have an accessibility and accommodations coordinator and a friendship coordinator. So some people are sort of transitioning out of roles on the national team because they've been volunteers for a very long time, and it is very normal to not want to volunteer forever. Also normal if you do want to volunteer forever, we accept that as well. But everyone has different lives and priorities, so they circle out. So we are working on updating what positions are available on the national team and communicating that active members can volunteer on the national team. But primarily our team has just been made up of alumni just because that's how it works. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the priorities for this semester and the strategic priorities for the next couple of years for Omega Phi Alpha, and just give like a big picture overview of where Omega Phi Alpha is. First, every semester I write a blog that's a semester in review, which sort of details recruitment for the past semester compared to previous semesters, service compared to previous semesters, and sort of going through all of the things that we focus on. Unfortunately, we are having website issues, but as soon as those are resolved, the fall 2023 semester in review blog will go up. So, and then I'll do like a year in review at the end of this semester. To sort of recap, we do like a state of the sorority and cover where all of our chapters are, where the sorority is. Overall, we are experiencing a bit of a membership stagnation, a little bit of a decline, depending on the semester, but overall, our membership numbers have stayed the same since about 2020. We've experienced a little bit of growth to pre-COVID numbers, depending on the semester, but our overall membership number has stayed about the same. And we have all been around since the COVID times, those of us on the national team. And so we know how challenging that was. And so we're glad to be getting back to those pre-COVID numbers, but still not experiencing very large membership growth. So that's something we definitely continue to focus on. Our service impact hasn't really changed that much despite our membership changing. So that's exciting. We continuously provide over 20,000 hours of service each semester, which is amazing. I don't know if anyone from Alpha Rho is here because I did not read the chat, but Alpha Rho consistently has the most hours of service of any chapter. So last semester, Alpha Rho chapter had over 1,600 hours of service. And we had 5 other chapters complete over 1,000 hours of service, which is really exciting. And we had 1 member complete over 80 hours of service in the fall semester, and 2 others complete over 70. So really, really great service impact. The chapter health team, there's going to be more information in the semester in review about this, but myself and the chapter health team had a retreat in Denver, Colorado in October, I think. It feels like it's been forever, but we set some like very specific strategic goals for the next 2 years. And we worked together to address some like immediate chapter concerns and talk about new resources. So I know you guys don't often see this, but on the back end, we have like this never-ending list of resources that we want to create for you all based on your feedback on those monthly officer reports and conversations with the national team. So it's our general goal to make sure we're providing everything you need to run effective chapters and be supported by the national organization. So that's a little bit of my update. I'm going to pass it off to Taylor for your update.
Yes, hello everyone. So I'll try to make this a little bit quick, and then we have like 2 kind of like fun questions to get like information out of you, and then we'll open it up to you guys to just see what questions you have. So one of the things I always want to remind are like your big 3 things to watch. If you look at these things, you are always fine. You will always know what's happening. So if you look at what's new in HQ, that's now weekly. It has reminders on there, fun facts on there, things for you to just consider. There might be an opportunity to get some money towards convention. I don't know. Little things like that will pop up on what's new in HQ. Your emails, so those at omegaphialpha.org emails, please look at those, answer those. If you find that like your chapter is struggling to do that, during your exec board meetings, like take time to just get in the rhythm. Like when you first start, like everyone, let's check our email. Let's clear our inboxes. So then hopefully it becomes like a little circadian rhythm. They just think about it when you're not with them, or when they see you, they'll remember to check their emails. And then Slack. On there, you'll notice that we've been a lot more active this semester with like just posting tips, asking questions to see how things are going. But that's also where we'll post reminders like for this OLA session happening today. So little things like that will happen on there. I also do like Monday motivational things to just get you through the semester. As much as it's for you all, it's also for me because I also need motivation to get through my day too. So it will also go there as well. Some other things, chapters that have been on a chapter assistance plan in the past, you probably received an email from Melissa just asking for feedback. That is so that we can show whether or not this program is helpful and if it's great and if you love it, that's awesome. Don't just tell us, put it in the form so then we can use it when we create our chapter health program reports to really show everyone, including alumni, like what we do as this program, like what is it, like what's the final stages, but also that you guys appreciate it and that it is helpful for your growth because that's the basis of it. Want to remind you guys about chapter checkouts. If that is like a new term and you're like, what is she talking about? I'm going to tell you now so that you'll remember and I'll keep reminding you. But at the end of the semester, you'll have a meeting with myself or someone else from the chapter health team where it's like your checkout to see how you're doing when it comes to 7 different like bucket areas. So how are you doing with your service? How did you do with your recruitment? How did you do with retaining your membership? How did you do with answering emails, being on Slack, being responsive, and things like that? So we'll continuously remind you about that, but that is where you get a grade from us as a national organization, the same way that you grade us in your mid-year report and your final report. We do the same to you. So then you have things that you can continuously work on as a chapter to just improve over time. And it's an easy way for the old president and the new president to be in the same meeting with the chapter health team, ask questions, get a really good handoff that you need so then you feel good coming back for the next school year. It'll be especially important because convention is this year too, so then you can check in with us before you come together to see us at convention, and we have a blast. So yeah, just little updates there that we wanted to make sure we shared out. Any questions about what I just said or what Alyssa just said? You're like, what are these things that they're talking about if you want any deeper explanation? I see a head shake no. That feels good. All right. All hearts and minds are content. Beautiful. So now I'll ask you the question, what are things that you want to see from us as a national organization? So we mentioned like a lot of stuff that we do, but we want to ask you, is there anything that you want to see that maybe you don't see now, maybe you don't know where it's located, etc. This is like an open forum for that. You can unmute and say it, or you can put it in the chat and I'll uplift it for you. But we'll take notes on this as well, so then we can keep track of it. Either everyone is deep in thought or like maybe we're really good at our jobs. That makes me feel really good. And it also could be you are just starting your semester and maybe you don't know what you need yet. So that could be a really huge piece of it. And that's where Slack will come into place of, hey, we have these lovely channels, like we have our president's council, the one for the VPs, treasurers, etc. If you're like, oh my God, I now know an answer to Taylor's question and we're now in March, put it in there because then we can create that for you. So then either you're able to utilize it or the next person in your position is also able to utilize it. So if you think of anything as we go to the next question, then you can still put it in the chat and we'll take note of it. So I'll ask you now, what are your favorite things about your chapter? And this is also going to be for our national team to answer to. You can think back from when you're inactive or now that you're alum, what's something that they're doing that you absolutely love? And I'll go last. I'll switch it up.
I'll say something. Why not? So at Phi Chapter, we have had this tradition every semester. We do a Girl Scout Badge Day, and it's usually a project that we do like in addition to the six projects that are required for your chapter. So we pretty much have seven projects that we would do that were required for our members each semester. So it's a really awesome tradition for us, and it really gets us involved with members who have children who are in Girl Scouts now. I was actually a troop leader and was able to take my troop to Girl Scout Badge Day with my chapter, which was really cool. So, I mean, I just love that we have these traditions that, you know, are service based, but also, keep the connection alive with our members past when they're in college.
I can go. I'm from the Alpha Theta chapter, and I feel like our chapter has really been struggling the past few years, at least since I've joined. And I feel like right now we just have a bunch of really passionate girls, especially on exec, who are working very hard at finding ways to build morale and make us just more of a sisterhood. And so that way we can kind of get back to what we're about and friendship and sisterhood. And it's just making me very excited for the future of our chapter because I feel like the best for our chapter is yet to come. So I don't know if anyone, I have two other people from my exec here. I don't know if they have anything else, but.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Maxine. I feel like the group that we have now are a lot more dedicated than I've seen in the sorority before. And like we're all trying new things and we're all supporting each other in the process of trying new things. Like for example, like shout out Elena, she literally planned an event this past weekend and it was great. Everyone had fun from what I heard, and like it's just trial and error, but so far it's been successful in those little events like that.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to add. I'm also from the Alpha Theta chapter, but I definitely agree with what they said. That I think the people on exec now are very passionate and are committed to making our chapter like whole again, if that makes sense.
Surely you guys have favorite things about your chapters. I need everyone to share something favorite.
I'm from Alpha Omicron. Mine kind of goes off of that. I just feel like everyone in our chapter is very passionate about everything they do. We have a lot of people that like put in a lot of effort to go to as many events as they can and get to know as many people as they can. And it just makes it like a really fun environment to be a part of. And I love like walking through campus and always knowing like I'm gonna run into someone. So yeah, it's just little things like that.
I'm Anna. I'm from Alpha Lambda, and I feel like what I really like about my chapter is that like the president and vice president, they just work so hard for us to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And as an executive officer, they're always like so helpful whenever I have any questions about like the logistics of an event and making it work, or I need that extra support. I'm just like so thankful that they're always there for us. So
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm from the Delta chapter. And one thing that I really appreciate and love about our chapter is that we work really closely with our community, where one of our permanent projects is the Sexual Assault Resource Center. And we partner with them and we do nonprofits. And it's just a great way to reach out and just let people know what resources are available.
Emily, your chapter might be the best example of a chapter with like really intense traditions. And I think it's probably because your university has really intense traditions
Yes.
as well. But I love that you shared about SARC. So what Emily is saying is that their chapter created their own permanent project. So essentially, like Stark is a community at large project. And they do it every year, which is really great. I have formed such a great relationship with them. And over the past few years, I've heard so many people from your chapter talk about that service partnership and how meaningful it's been. I really love that so many of you shared specifically about the officers in your chapter and the leadership being helpful to you. And I think, you know, Alpha Theta, every chapter goes through challenges. So it's not abnormal, and all that you really need is a great group of leaders to bring it through. So very exciting. Anything else? I know there were a couple of people who didn't share. Do you have anything else you want to share?
I have something else that I just thought of that Alpha Theta does. I know that Thon is very unique to Penn State, but I've actually been able to be on the Thon board for our chapter this semester as well, which has really made me see the impact. I actually communicate with the families we're paired with one-on-one, and being able to see the impact that we have on these families, along with like the rest of the Penn State community, raising money year long and being able to have two of our members be dancers at Thon for Thon weekend is very exciting and something that I feel like is very unique to our chapter, but I think it brings us very close together, and it's something that we all really enjoy doing and is a really big part of not only being at Penn State, but giving back and helping people who really need support in times like that.
Yeah, Alpha Lambda also has, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, Thon is a project that you guys always do. And then Alpha Lambda always does a 5K for, what's it called? Outreach the Stigma, I think. So there are many chapters that have like these little service traditions that they do every year. And that it seems like they do really develop into members' favorite activities. One of my favorite things that my chapter always did was like fun. We had the same service project that we did, which was really nice because you kind of like developed a rhythm and an expectation around service projects. It was a lot easier for the service director. So probably out of like our 6 required projects, at least 3 of them were always the same every semester. So we developed great relationships in the community and with national organizations. I really liked that. And then also we always like did really simple but fun things for our chapter meetings were on Sunday nights. And we always had a Halloween themed one close to Halloween, and we would like give prizes to like the best group costume. We always did like an Easter egg hunt for the chapter right around Easter. So we just did like a lot of really honestly kind of silly, but those are like some of the best memories that I have. And we also formed like what I think now we would probably call like affinity groups in some way, but we formed these like little groups of people, like group leaders that would lead like a topic or like a gathering. So like I did a Monday dinner night. So every Monday I was like the mainstay at like a group dinner that was like always at the same place. So casual like sisterhood things that I feel like really were some of my best memories with people.
I guess I'll go next. My favorite thing would be our philanthropy weeks in the fall and the spring. We do St. Baldrick's in the spring, and then Hope Heart Institute in the fall. And we do like mud volleyball and like a cupcake wars thing to raise money for them.
Your row chapter, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Such a distinguishing factor about chapters too. I love that. When you talk about St. Baldrick's, I'm like, oh, row chapter. Cool.
It's funny that you say St. Baldrick's because I think of the volleyball tournament.
That's funny.
I guess I can wrap us up with sharing our favorites, unless anyone gets inspired when I'm finished. I would say for my chapter, I love like our like I don't even know how to describe it, but our morale around like failing forward. of like, we're gonna try it, we're gonna see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll adjust and then it'll be great. And everyone like had that freedom and flexibility to do those things. So it turned out where we just always were doing new stuff and then people were obsessed with it and we would keep it up. And so it just was so nice being able to just like have freedom in the way that we led. And so it was really nice to be able to do that. And then specific things, I loved when we worked with I Support the Girls. We did an event called Bra La La La, where we got used bras that we were able to like wash and donate, which was awesome. And then we also like did some like a screening to like provide education and like had people come and talk. So it was just like a really like intensive, like we're diving in and we're gonna run with it. And it was awesome. And my whole chapter showed up, which was like an accomplishment in itself. But it was really nice being able to do that too, and like finding little ways to integrate it throughout that week of us supporting that organization. So I'll probably take that away with me for a really long time. It was awesome.
Awesome. Now the fun part. What questions do you have for us? What are your burning questions? What do you hate? What do you love? What do you need help with? We're here for all of it, all the feedback. And we accept silence as perfection, so we know we're not perfect. So don't leave us hanging here.
I don't know if this applies to like everyone else, but I think my chapter has had a very difficult time transitioning. And I just feel like maybe our officers in the past haven't kept up like very good documentation of what they do or like the resources we're supposed to have. So I don't know if there's something that could, because we just took over for starting the semester. And so I just want to make sure moving forward that like, I know we have a very good exec board right now, but I think if we could set the next one up for success is one of the biggest things. So I guess providing information about the resources and information that we should be passing down to make sure we're not missing anything so we don't run into issues when we transition next year.
This is a very common issue, so don't feel like it's just your chapter or just you're the only person that's ever experienced this. This is something that a lot of chapters deal with. I think a big thing is making sure that your elections are happening early enough in the semester so there is time for a formal like transition meeting where you sit one-on-one with that officer to talk. My advice for moving forward and keeping everyone set for success is each officer kind of create like a running document of like, okay, start of the semester, this is what I do, or even like pre-semester, start, middle, end, just like a running document of everything. Keeping the Google Drive really clean and organized is important because that's kind of what you're passing on to your successor. Of all that information, especially stuff from OPA Portal is really great. OPA Portal is our friend. So check out the files in there. There's so many resources and also what's new in HQ. But we have prior like transitioning officer workshops that should be on Portal and they're also on YouTube. And then we usually have one like every semester too, something an OLA that is in regards to elections or transition. I can't remember off the top of my head if we have one set. I feel like we do, Taylor. We always seem to have something though that gears towards that. But those I think are like the starting steps for making sure like you're preparing the next person well. Did I miss anything, anyone?
I'm curious to know like what I hear you saying that like knowing how to document the resources or like what to be included. That's definitely, as Jenna said, this is very common. It's definitely something that we've talked about before. We have debated the best ways to do this. There are a lot of opinions and it has been done different ways in the past that we have tried to evolve and maybe it needs to be updated. So I'm curious, like what can we do? Is there like here's some options that I think of from the top of my head, and so I'm wondering, like we could create like there's a few different things. We could recommend a Google Drive organization and what documents you put in your Google Drive folders. We could recommend like a table of contents for an officer binder, like for each officer position. We could tell you, like, create a binder, here's what you should include in it. We used to do that and we kind of stopped doing that because chapters moved away from physical binders and we're using digital resources, but now it seems to be sort of in between. We also could create like a calendar of things that you need to do and when you need to do them. Thinking about like actual action items, like what would be helpful for us to provide.
I definitely think a table of contents might be useful. I know we kind of had like a similar binder system, but in a Google Doc that was put in the drive. And I just feel like they were not very well done from what we got from the last officers. I know like our treasurer was missing information about our bank accounts and stuff, and not all of the documents that like people had were in there. There wasn't very clear outlines of how to do certain things. They just said like do this and didn't explain how. So I think maybe having like an outline like that we could put into a document would be useful, and like emphasizing what needs to be elaborated on rather than just saying do this might be useful.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's super helpful. That's something that's like fairly straightforward that I feel like we could do is like make a recommendation for whether it's a digital folder or binder table of contents, but we can say like, here's what you should put. So like I work with chapter treasurers a lot, so I often say this to treasurers, like create a drive folder that's chapter finance, and then within that have a folder for each semester, or a folder for bank statements, a folder for budget, like we do talk about like that organization, but maybe, yeah, a little bit more detail and for each of the officer positions would be helpful. So it's a little bit more organized and you know where to find everything.
Yeah, because I know our treasurer did not even, there was 2 documents in the drive when she got it, and one of the documents wasn't including all the information she needed. And that's been creating a lot of issues for us that I think we're hopefully getting over now and working on resolving. But I just like, and I think she's, with all the stress, is trying to work on building up resources, but I just want to make sure like something like this doesn't happen for the next people.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, we've talked about creating a standard Google Drive organization because we can control that for all of you. So we can like populate your folders and we can populate materials in those folders as well. Right now, we've been focused on putting everything on OPA portal, but maybe you're not using OPA portal in that way. So maybe we need to consider a different place to put it. So that's helpful.
I also wanted to add, a lot of times too, sometimes like in situations like you're describing, it might be best to like just go pull the national manuals for each officer position and build it out based on your chapter specifically, because the misinformation happens, or if it's been like 2 years since it's been updated, like so much changes during that time, and sometimes it's a lot easier to go and update the national one than to just start one from scratch. So that might be an option as well.
And as Casey put in the chat, I'm going to plug the transition workshop that's happening on March 4th. I'm pretty sure I'm leading it. Sounds like a me title, so I'm going to lean with that. But it's the seamless shifts, navigating transitions with purpose and resilience. In that space, I think it's really important, and I really talk about the importance of like your transitions meeting and how that should be executed. It's so important with during that meeting, old officer, new officers, you're together, you're able to do your mid-year report or your annual report depending on timing, because that really is like a semester at a glance for these new officers. So they're able to understand what they're walking into, how much money they have, all of those things. And it really just like sets them up for success. So I'll be talking about that and some other things, but that'll be a good space to just have at least your president at that meeting. That's a really good one for presidents. If your president and VP can come, since y'all are like a team of execution, that would also be awesome as well. But just plugging that space.
What other challenges do you need guidance on, or what other questions do you have for us? Quiet.
I had one more thing about transitions, and then I'm gonna pose a question. But
Okay.
one is with the transitions, I think some officers feel like, oh, this person got elections are up, like I'm done, I'm out. When nope, that is not true. Your responsibility is to transition that person and pass everything along. So I would really like when election time comes for your chapter, just like remind all your officers that like their job is to be done through once everything needs to be like passed on properly and the next person needs to be prepared. But the question I was going to pose, I mean, it could really be for anyone, but is there anything you're looking forward to this semester? Maybe something you're working on, something you're excited about?
I'll go. Our service directors this semester have done such a good job at like planning ahead. And we've done like a lot of the same projects in the past. And the semester we have some different ones, which I'm excited about because I like to dabble in all of the things and get involved in all different ways. So I'm excited about that.
I'm very excited for our recruitment. I know Natalie has been working with Nadia as well. She's not here, but very, very hard on getting our name out there. I think at a school where the Panhellenic Council is huge and we don't do primary recruitment, it's very difficult for us and we're really struggling with numbers. And our recruitment doesn't even start until the 5th, but we already have 20 people signed up for recruitment and we only currently have 20 active girls. So that's very exciting. And usually after primary recruitment happens and after bid day, I've heard we get more people sign up as well. So it's making me very excited for recruitment and hopefully growing our chapter.
That's amazing. That's so exciting. Traditionally, Alpha Theta and Rho chapter are our largest chapters, but I know Alpha Theta and the Panhellenic has been an interesting couple of years. So that's very, very exciting for you all. If you need help with big and little, because you might have like everyone needing to take a little and some people taking twins, just reach out. We're happy to like give some creative solutions. We've had this happen before where a chapter is like more than doubled. So let us know if you need help.
I'm also very excited for our service projects this semester. I think we have a lot of really good ones planned. We voted on them last night. And we've been working towards being more intentional with ours, which I think has been really good. So we lowered our service requirement last semester, but it's back up this semester. So, and I think everyone's just excited. And I think they're just such a good time to like get to know other sisters better too. So that's the thing I'm probably most excited for this semester.
Love to hear it.
Service was always one of my favorite things to look forward to every semester, even though I was never service director. I was like, I always wanted to figure out what our projects were going to be. We actually, at Phi Chapter, when I was president, and before that, we used to vote on our projects at the end of the previous semester so that we had like the whole summer or the whole winter break to plan and execute. So think of that too, like as y'all are, trying to plan ahead, trying to set others up for success, like what can you be proactive about? Change that, so what if you've always voted on them early in the semester, like your new members have been activated, like why not vote for them at the end of a semester so that your new exec board has even more time to plan and make them amazing for y'all.
Yeah, I would second that. It's always good to have them planned out in advance and you get more excited about them. Yeah, it seems like some chapters do that, as Jenna said. Some do, some don't. It's less chaos at the beginning of the semester too. Like as you're settling in, you already know what your projects are going to be. So really great. I'm curious if any of you have any questions about like what the national team does or like what we're doing. Yeah, do you just have questions about like the national organization in general? No, it doesn't appear so. Well, we're always happy to answer questions. As Taylor said, we are active in Slack. If I don't know if any treasurers are here, but I did record several how-to videos last week and put them in the Slack based on some questions I was getting from chapter treasurers and some recommendations. So I'll keep that up throughout the semester as things come up. I will be adding those directly into Slack. Taylor put in the chat that we have a survey. We would love your feedback on this session and offer any feedback on other specific sessions you might want in the future. Officer Leadership Academy is really designed for you all and to bring you the information that you need for a successful semester and chapter. So we always welcome feedback. If there are no other questions, thank you so much for being here and being in this space with us today. And you can always reach out on Slack or via email if you have any further questions.
Enjoy your 12 minutes back, friends.
Yes, I'm excited for mine. Enjoy the extra time today. Little teddy bear.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you.